I'm John Beaudin. We've already partially reported on this, what the atmosphere was like at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when Hart was inducted. The old band only got a chance to play one song. We're going to talk to former members Roger Fisher, his brother Mike, who used to be the manager and sometimes producer of the band, Michael DeRozier, the drummer, man, I love that guy's drumming, and bassist Steve Fossen. The frostiness at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the classic 70s lineup of Hart. But how did it feel for you going in? Were you nervous? I mean,
to the Hall of Fame thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's obviously when Steve and I left, there were some issues that just kind of I guess I just kind of got to a point to where things were not going in the direction that I thought was best for the band, for me, and for
musically.
Kind of, yeah. Everything else was pretty fine. I mean, I have a lot of respect for both Ed and Nancy, for their talent and everything. I think they're great, but it was just kind of the ego thing. I guess you could reduce it down to that. And so here comes all these years later, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing comes up, and I kind of got to a point thinking about it where, okay, if everybody's cool, I'll be fine with it. It'll be good. So, but I had my doubts, and sure enough, in rehearsing and just sort of kind of putting the thing together, it was probably worse. Nothing had changed really, and it was probably a worse kind of a vibe than it was when I left. And it just, I don't know. We were talking earlier about all these Journey and all these other bands that they don't even stand together on stage. They gotta have a buffer zone so they don't, I don't know, far enough so they can't punch the other guy. What is it? Somebody I think could probably write at least a chapter in a book, if not.
But isn't it the ex-wife thing though? I appreciate. I mean, listen, Rick Emmett's not the first person who told me. I've talked to him so many times, but I told him last time I talked to him. I said, but after you told me that 10 years ago, you did get back, and he sold his shares in Triumph, for God's sakes. He to the other two guys, and so I said, well, what makes you? Because everyone loves a reunion, but the fans don't understand sometimes that it's not perfectly wrapped little package, but at the same time, it's just a couple of songs. You don't have to be kissy. I mean, it's just,
Well, I think if there is a changeover, if there is a change of heart, change of attitude, it's probably money. By that time, a lot of people start needing money again, that's the way a lot of business goes. So I'm not surprised.
yeah.
And it's just, I think with some people, it's just being mature, realizing the stupid attitudes and the things that they thought were important back then are not important anymore. And so they just go, you know what? Heck with all that nonsense. Let's just do this. Let's have some fun, not worry about anything.
How did you feel being inducted, and what was that? I mean, I talked to the Fisher brothers, and they say it was a little frosty because they wanted to play more than one song, and I understand their point of view. What did that mean to you, and what was the experience like?
Well, I felt exactly the same way. I felt like we were the original band, and we needed to play. If we're going to do Magic Man and Barracuda, or Crazy on You and Barracuda. There was two writers of Barracuda in the band, Roger Fisher and Mike DeRozier. And for them to have their current Hart lineup play, and and it wouldn't have been bad, but they really didn't do it justice, really. They kind of played it slow, and then it got slower as it went on. But you know, we should have played it. It was a great opportunity for Ann and Nancy to play Barracuda with the original members, you know, and which is undoubtedly, there's nobody that plays it like us. And since Mike and I were, you know, we were playing Heart by Heart back then, so we played the song often. So we really had it down. And then Ann and Nancy kind of peppered the stage with, you know, rock celebrities, their friends, you know. Like with us, we had Jerry Cantrell, and on the Barracuda side, they had Chris Cornell. And I don't know, it just kind of, you know, Jerry was asking me during rehearsals, he says, why am I up here? Because the six of us took care of all the parts, basically. So I don't know. It's just something that Ann wanted, I guess.
What's been the reaction? Was there a special I mean, the other side of that is you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like you said. I mean, that's an exclusive club. It's a like I said, it's a wide brush club. I always tell people every single year when the nominations come out, I get guys, they're not going to change. It's a wide brush. It's the influence of the influence of the influence. And a lot more than that. It is what it is. You can complain. It's like every year you go, "What? Damn, Christmas is coming again." Well, yeah, it comes every year. There is that side, but what's your take on their wide brush? Are you okay with that? Because a lot of people are going to die, literally, if I may be frank, who should be in there, who are not going to get in there. And I understand that argument, but what's your take on that?
Well, you know, there's plenty of people that deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that for some reason, maybe somebody in the band angered somebody at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or was impolite to some, or whatever. And so the politics get involved. But I mean, you can't induct everybody. And people don't realize this, but there's a process you go through. You kind of, it's kind of a vetting process, and you go to a certain place and you get so many people to agree that you should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you submit that to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then they have a lot more consideration for whatever act is putting their hat in the ring there. But you know, we were very fortunate. We had some very good people that were in the ears of the people at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, you know, they kept us, you know, in their thoughts. And so, you know, we got nominated. And the very first year we were nominated, we didn't make it. So, but the next year we were nominated and we did make it. And so, I mean, this is what I tell most people. I say, being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is way better than not being in it. For me, anyway. Yeah. Wow. And because it really adds some credibility to the contributions that Howard, Mike, Roger, and I gave to the whole situation, which, if you think about it, we were co-creators of everything. Co-creators of the music, co-creators of the image, co-creators of the recordings. We were all involved in mixing, and all our ideas were heard and listened to and accepted if they were worthy. And so we really, our stamp is on there, but our names are this big, where Ann and Nancy's names are, you know, that big, you know. So, I mean, it's kind of inevitable because they were sisters, and it's just like the Everly Brothers. I mean, who knows who's in the Everly Brother band? Yeah. I mean, we all know that Chet Atkins played on a lot of the hits, but he didn't tour with them all that much, I don't think. So, excuse me. So it's hard. It's like what they say in a movie. That if you're a brand new star coming up, he said, don't be in a movie with a dog or a kid. Because the kid, the dog's going to steal the show, and they're not, no one's going to notice you. And, and that's the kind of the way it was. And, you can't really blame the audience for liking Ann and Nancy. But at the same time, we felt like our contributions were great, and we're not backing down from our contributions. And, we think we deserve credit too. And so, we keep hammering away like, hey, we're relevant too. And, we are, and there's no doubt about it, because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acknowledged us, and fans acknowledge us all the time, especially when Mike and I are out playing the Heart music.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How did it feel being there with Ann and Nancy and their new band? I mean, were you like a good sport about it? It is what it is. We're former members. How was it being up there?
For me, it was really tense, because the way we split, I don't think I was held in real high esteem by them. And I don't think that they knew what they were going to get when we got back together. So they had Jerry Cantrell there in the rehearsal room. And I wondered, well, why is he here? Why is he playing with us? And I think it was a safety net in case Raj was too weird to deal with or something. But whatever image they had in their mind, it wasn't accurate, because I was fine. And once we broke the ice, I mean, me and Jerry Cantrell started singing Alice in Chains songs. I took the Lane Staley parts. And so we had a great little warm-up session before the girls came into the room. And when they came into the room, Ann came first, and I went right up to her, and I had a little intimate conversation with her that let her know some important things that were very personal. And that was really good. We had a really nice little healing moment. Then when Nancy came in, I did the same thing and established a foundation of kind of trust, and like, everything's cool between us. And after that, it felt a lot better. But still, I was really under the microscope. So it wasn't comfortable for me. What was comfortable was the minute that we started playing music, it was like, oh my God, there it is, instant. The very first time we did Crazy on You, after all those decades, it was just instantly really, really good. Mm-hmm. Like nothing had changed, So from that point on, it felt really good. And then when we did the actual induction ceremony, imagine you're on stage. There's, going to be millions and millions of people in the television audience, but right down in front of you, you've got Jack Nicholson, Quincy Jones, Oprah, and Rush, and all these amazing people, and that's your audience, along with the other 7,000 people. That was a pressure that I wasn't used to at all. But that's what helps charge a performance with energy, is when you've got that kind of pressure.
Mike, were you at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yes.
And you obviously had a chance to talk to Ann?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
It was kind of strange, actually. There was no inclusion or recognition. I was more or less invisible to her. And it was very odd to me that it would be that way.
It was incredible. I mean, I have apologized to Mike many times for not bringing up his name during the induction process. It was just, I was nervous as hell, but that's no excuse for not bringing up there was no single person more responsible for the success of that group than Mike, and nobody mentioned him. And it's just, it's just very regretful to me.
You know, we live in a world where either your spouses are the devils or your spouses are someone who helped form your foundation. My ex-wife's one of my best friends. My current wife upstairs loves my ex-wife, but I know that's not always the case. And Roger, when you were talking about looking at Nancy, and I mean, it's not a perfect world. I'm not blame because I wasn't part of that. I mean, this is your world. But in a perfect world, though, it'd be nice to say, hey, we spent time together. You know, nice to see you again. You know, because we all shape each other, man. We all do that. It's cliche, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Another thing about if we did have the chance to do a reunion, boy, it sure would be nice to get some things talked about that are real. Yes, that are real touchy and this old, it's old stuff that's in. I know it's in their makeup and it's in my makeup, and when you get things talked about, a polarization in your being can occur where there's a big sense of relief. There's knowledge that, oh, that's why that was like that, and that's why that was like that, and that's why I acted the way I did, and that's why I had that blow up moment in Portland where I smashed my guitar on the stage and went back in the dressing room and threw my guitar against the wall because I didn't have the tools to be able to speak what I wanted to say, which needed to be said because of what I saw was going on. This is the true thing that was going on, and I couldn't talk about it. It was not an environment that supported that kind of conversation or those kinds of processes at that time. Yeah. And so in frustration, I threw my guitar against the wall. So then Anne grabbed onto that, saying that I threw the guitar at Nancy. It's just bullshit. But yeah, if we could get some stuff talked about, we would recognize that my greatness and their greatness are equal, and there should really be no problem here.
Yeah.
As Nancy's older sister, I can certainly understand where she was coming from. But without going into that, there could be some great healing, forgiveness, understanding, and that would be awesome if that happened.
We'll have more from Michael DeRozier, Mike and Roger Fisher, and Steve Fossen in the next few days. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. And we give this invitation all the time. If Anne or Nancy Wilson want to come on here and talk about their side of things, they're more than welcome. We've tried with Anne numerous times, and for whatever reason, I kind of feel like we were given the runaround. This is Rock History Music.